Reaction of the Prime Minister and...
Sir, I'm once again... No, please.
No, sir.
Once again.
Sir.
No, once again.
Interruptions, objections.
आप ऑथेंटिकेट कीजिए और मैं इस पे बात करना चाहता हूँ। हाँ, मैं दे रहा हूँ ना। दिया है मैंने, दे रहा हूँ।
From debate to disorder.
Sir, I'm once again requesting you to please restrict yourself to the speech of the Honorable President.
Chair steps in, opposition pushes back. Papers fly, order collapses.
The chair.
There was an altercation.
Everyone speaks on the permission of the chair.
Please speak, sir.
8 opposition MPs suspended.
Down, Narendra Modi! नहीं चलेगी!
Mega Sansad showdown.
Now, what is this yaar? What is this yaar? This is Parliament, this is Lok Sabha. You can't address the chair. You cannot address the chair with yaar.
Who crossed the line? Aparajita Sarangi versus Pawan Khera on to the point.
Good evening, you're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. Lots that happened in Parliament today, but also Manipur finally has a new Chief Minister. We're going to get you the latest on that. All right, the latest news break coming in. Manipur has a new Chief Minister. While all of this coming in after a year, a new Meitei leader, Yumnam Khemchand Singh, has been elected as the BJP legislature party leader in the Manipur Legislative Party meeting that took place in the national capital at 3 p.m. this evening. President's rule was imposed in Manipur in February 2025 after the kind of violence and strife we had seen the state of Manipur go through. President's rule was imposed amidst astounding amounts of violence. Violence, though, still continues in the state, but the latest that we are getting in right now is that after a legislative party meet which took place in the national capital, Manipur has a new chief minister. Indrajit Kundu joining us for more. Indra, what more can you add?
Well, Preeti, very significant development as far as Manipur is concerned, because finally we can see some ray of hope as far as the political governance is concerned, because the state was placed under President's rule exactly a year back. 13th of February 2025 is when President's rule was imposed and the Assembly was dismissed. Now, we are going to get a new government with the BJP being able to form, being able to elect a new leader of their legislative party, and that's why Khemchand Singh, and he is a veteran leader, somebody who was the Speaker of the Manipur Legislative Assembly, and his name had propped up earlier as well. In the past 1 year, several times we've been hearing that there is a possibility, because there has to be acceptance from both, sides of the ethnic divide. Remember, BJP has 32 MLAs in the Manipur Legislative Assembly, and about a few of them are also cookie MLAs. Now, given the ethnic divide in Manipur right now, it was necessary for the BJP central leadership to bring both the Meitei and the cookie leadership on board. What has happened, of course, on Sunday, BJP MLAs along with its alliance partners were summoned to Delhi, and somehow they have been able to stitch together a new, government with Khemchand as its leader.
Okay. All right, Indra, appreciate you joining us and giving us the latest update there. It remains to be seen whether the new Chief Minister will be accepted by the public, where a clear divide right now between the cookies and the Meitei continues. Trust India Today to get you a ringside view of all developments. Meanwhile, let's now quickly shift focus interimly to the chaos that erupted in Lok Sabha on day 2 of the President's address discussion, as leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi was interrupted today while referencing China. Of course, Rahul Gandhi was referring to the unpublished memoirs of the former army chief. Tensions flared when the speaker asked him to stick to the address, leading to fierce opposition and the Treasury bench's members coming in to a face-off. Ultimately, what we've been given to understand that 8 MPs. 1 of the left party, 7 of the Congress have been suspended for the entire session.
A single reference, a cascade of interruptions and scenes rarely seen inside the parliament. Papers flying, MPs shouting, and the House brought to standstill. Fireworks erupted on day 2 of discussion on President's address in Lok Sabha. Ruckus broke out after leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi once again mentioned China, quoting from former Army Chief General Naravane's unpublished memoir.
The relationship between us and the Chinese.
Please continue with your speech. We are waiting. But please avoid referring to a matter which has been settled.
Just like on the first day, the chair interrupted, saying Rahul must speak only on the President's address.
Mr. Venugopal, kindly be seated once again. No, listen. No, please listen. What did you say just now? What did you say just now? What is this yar? What is this yar? This is Parliament, this is Lok Sabha. You can't address the chair. You cannot address the chair with yar.
Chaos escalated as the opposition claimed Rahul Gandhi was being gagged by the speaker.
पहली चीज बोलने नहीं दे रहे हैं। मोदी जी घबराए हुए हैं।
आप उसको पसंद करो नहीं पसंद करो, लेकिन वो तो लीडर ऑफ द ऑपोजिशन इन इंडिया है, उसको तो मानना पड़ेगा, रिस्पेक्ट देना होगा। उसका वॉइस चुप कर देंगे तो हमारा क्या वॉइस होगा?
The situation worsened when the chair attempted to move on to other speakers.
माननीय श्रीमती शताब्दी राय। माननीय श्रीमती शताब्दी राय।
This did not go down well with the opposition. Congress MPs Manikam Tagore, Gurjeet Aujla, Raja Waring, Hebe Eden, Kiran Reddy and Venkat Raman stood on a table and threw papers towards the chair.
So one of the members addressed the chair as yar, which I found objection to. I took objection to that. Then later on they came onto the table and tore papers and threw at the chair, which is very, very objectionable behavior.
जब लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन को नहीं बोलने देखो, बाकी पीछे बच के जाता है। गवर्नमेंट ये डायरेक्शन थोड़ा ना करेगी, ये आप नहीं बोल सकते, ये बोल सकते हो, ये बात सुने, आराम से सुने, जो भी कहते हैं सुन लो, उसके बाद देश के सामने अपना पक्ष भी रखो।
कल पूरा दिन अपोजिशन लीडर राहुल गांधी जी का बोलने नहीं दिया। ऑथेंटिकेट करना है बोल रहे थे। आज ऑथेंटिकेट करके दे दिया राहुल गांधी जी ने, उसके बाद बोलने नहीं दे रहे थे।
The government moved a resolution to suspend the unruly MPs.
Shri Manikam Tagore, Shri Amrinder Singh Raja Waring, Shri Gurjeet Singh Aulia, Shri Hebe Eden Prashant, Padole, Shri Dean Karyakos, S. Venkatesh and Kiran Reddy resolved that the above mentioned members may be suspended from the services of the House.
राहुल गांधी जी के नेतृत्व में कांग्रेस पार्टी और उनके मित्र पक्ष डीएमके, तृणमूल कांग्रेस, समाजवादी पार्टी कितना भद्दा व्यवहार आज उन्होंने पार्लियामेंट में किया। माननीय अध्यक्ष जी की आसन तक पहुंचकर उनका अपमान किया।
Even as the resolution was being passed, more papers were thrown at the chair. Amid the ruckus, 8 MPs were suspended. Opposition leaders questioned the decision.
यहाँ पे ये तस्वीर आप देख रहे हैं, यहाँ पे राहुल गांधी तमाम सांसदों के साथ खड़े हैं जो सस्पेंड हो गए हैं।
जो सस्पेंडेड है वो आगे आ जाए।
ईबी एडेन, राहुल गुरजीत औजला, राजा वॉरिंग यहाँ पे मौजूद हैं।
सस्पेंडेड वाले आगे आ जाए।
तमाम कांग्रेस के एमपी मकर द्वार से राहुल गांधी के साथ निकलते हुए यहाँ पे।
The Lok Sabha was adjourned till Wednesday shortly after 3 p.m. on a day that saw much drama and little work. With Piyush Mishra and Mausami Singh, Bureau Report, India Today.
सभा की कार्रवाई बुधवार दिनांक 4 फरवरी 2026 को प्रातः 11 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है।
All right, the latest news break coming in. Rahul Gandhi has now shot off a letter to Lok Sabha Speaker, says the refusal of these basic democratic rights has led to an unprecedented situation for the first time in parliamentary history. On the behest of the government, the Speaker has been forced to prevent the leader of opposition from speaking on the President's address. This is a blot on our democracy. Moshmi Singh, for more on this. Moshmi, a face-off which clearly had been brewing in the last few days came to a head today with 8 MPs being suspended for the entire session.
Absolutely, Preeti. And the letter, in fact, itself indicates that the Congress is in no mood to yield. Rahul Gandhi was not ready to yield in terms of all the interjections by the ministers of the Modi government. And now the battle is head-on. Not only has the left joined the bandwagon with one left MP being suspended, but Samajwadi Party that refused to, continue the entire discussion on the motion of thanks with its MPs refusing to speak if Rahul Gandhi was not permitted. The TMC also joined that bandwagon, and thereby, it seems that the entire opposition has been consolidated in this battle of survival of who's right and who's wrong.
All right, Moshmi, thank you for joining us with that quick update. My colleague Moshmi, who tracks the Parliament very closely, giving us on, what really transpired, a sense of that. You saw that in the story above, and then explaining that Congress no mood to back down. Let's quickly cut across to Aparajita Sarangi, Member of Parliament, Lok Sabha, Bharatiya Janata Party, joining us live right now. Ms. Sarangi, thank you for taking the time out and joining us this evening. Can you hear me, Ms. Sarangi? Ms. Sarangi, can you hear me?
There's a lot of disturbance. It's very difficult to make out.
Ma'am, we're going to try and correct that disturbance. Ms. Aparajita Sarangi, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Ma'am, the charge now, you were in Parliament, you were in Lok Sabha. The charge now leveled by the LOP is that this is an insult of democratic rights. You did not allow the LOP to speak, and today the Treasury benches ganged up against the opposition MPs, resulting that at the behest of the Treasury benches, the Speaker suspended 8 MPs.
The budget session has just begun. 2 days are lost. Parliamentarians have come from all over the country to participate in the proceedings of the Lok Sabha and see what's happening. Now see, let me make it very clear that we are all bound by the rules of procedure and conduct of business in Lok Sabha. We may like it, we may not like it, but the Speaker's ruling is final as per Rule 353. I request all of you to actually go through this rule. In fact, rule number 349 had been quoted yesterday, and let me tell you that this rule 349 says very clearly that you cannot read out from a piece of paper or even the newspaper, etc., if it is not connected with the business of the House. Now, this is very clear. Not connected with the business of the House. I make an appeal to all of you to go through that particular rule too, apart from reading rule 353. Now, what was the business of the House? On 28th of last month, Her Excellency delivered a joint address, and then there was motion of thanks going on. Now, at that point of time, Sri Rahul Gandhi ji brings out something which was unpublished. Now, he never named the book. I reiterate this, he never named the book. Now, forget what is right, what is wrong, what is ethical, what is non-ethical. There was a ruling from the Speaker. And as per 353 rule of the rules of procedure and conduct of business in Lok Sabha, we have to abide by the directions. Now, here was a parliamentarian who did not. And then that particular atmosphere continued yesterday also and today also. And today what happened, in fact, it crossed all limits. We are all aware of that. We have seen on the television, and people like us were there very much in the Lok Sabha. Now, I must say that we are all parliamentarians, and parliamentarians have to behave in a dignified manner. Our behavior should be befitting a parliamentarian, nothing unbecoming. I mean, this is something which is expected of us because 1.4 billion people are looking at us. So I think under the circumstances, the kind of behavior that was shown was deplorable, absolutely condemnable, and in fact, unfortunately, they are all my colleagues. Unfortunately, 8 honorable MPs had to be placed under suspension. But then why did it all start? It would have ended by, we wanted to listen to the speech of the leader of opposition. We could not. So he harped on one particular topic and he just thought, we will pull down the government. See, the government cannot be pulled down by such things. Absolutely immature on his part.
But Ms. Sarangi, allow me to ask you one question, because this is what the opposition is saying. And that's a charge that he's the leader of opposition. Where does he put his point of view? You don't allow him, and that's the charge of the opposition, to speak at any juncture. When he has the opportunity to speak and put his point forward, then the chair starts quoting rules.
Let me tell you, I got to know the name of the book from social media late night yesterday. I'm a parliamentarian. While he spoke, he never mentioned the name of the book. And then thereafter, we got to know that this particular book had not been published. So my point is, you cannot fire shots in the air. It cannot be blind shots. When we go and speak in the Lok Sabha, trust me, Honorable Speaker always tells us what to say and what not to say. To do or not to do is the question. And in fact, whenever we also go astray, in fact, we are told not to go astray and be on the track. So I think the rules are applicable to all. And today I was aghast, let me tell you very honestly. Today, suddenly he says, you cannot give me permission, I'm the leader of opposition, I don't need permission. I mean, I was aghast as a parliamentarian. How can a parliamentarian say this, even if he is the leader of opposition? When our Honorable Prime Minister has to speak, he has to seek the permission of the Speaker. Please go back to the video of today's Lok Sabha proceedings. Trust me, I'm a second-time parliamentarian and I was aghast. So I think it smacks of arrogance, adamant behavior, and it smacks of ignorance of the rules of procedure and conduct of business in the Lok Sabha. So I will definitely make a very humble appeal to the leader of opposition, the respected leader of opposition, to go through the rules and behave as a parliamentarian should behave.
All right. Ms. Sarangi, thank you for taking the time out and joining us this evening. Appreciate it. We're going to try and get you both sides, both versions of what really happened. You had Aparajita Sarangi, who's been inside. I want to bring in Mr. Pawan Khera, Chairman, Media and Publicity Department, AICC, Member, Congress Working Committee. Mr. Khera, thank you for taking the time out and joining us this evening. Today, if your party, Mr. Khera, says that the LOP is being gagged, the Speaker, at the behest of the Treasury benches, has suspended 8 MPs. The Speaker and the Treasury bench members say that it was the LOP and Rahul Gandhi that did not adhere to rules of Parliament.
The rule that Ms. Sarangi was quoting, she was misquoting actually, Rule 349 does not say that Rahul Gandhi will take dictation from the Speaker or from the Treasury benches. He was expanding, he was responding to the President's address, he was trying to, making an attempt to talk about national security, very, very critical aspect of national security. And I think that's the reason why the government was very nervous. They didn't want General Naravane's unpublished book, the contents of which would have embarrassing the government terribly. They didn't want Mr. Gandhi to amplify that, because if Mr. Gandhi were to amplify that, all TV channels would have had to have debates on that. That would have become a part of the narrative, which it has, much though the government is trying to manage headlines. But now people are talking about not just General Naravane's book, people are talking about Epstein files, people are talking about Gautam Adani's notice, all these aspects which make the government, particularly Mr. Modi, very nervous, because these are very sensitive points for him. He gets afraid of these 3 words, and therefore they tried to gag the leader of opposition, and it's unprecedented. It's never happened in the history of parliamentary democracy that you gag the leader of opposition, then you suspend all the MPs who were trying to protest.
But Mr. Khera, there are a lot of things that have happened, especially in the recent past, which have been unprecedented and which have never quite really happened. And every, Parliament session is an ode to the unprecedentedness of it. But this time around, the charge is by the Speaker as well, that the chair was dishonored, papers were thrown at the chair, the kind of protest really doesn't sit in a democratic setup, is the charge.
Well, with due respect to the chair of the Speaker, I don't think the person occupying the chair commands any respect anymore. I'm sorry, with a very heavy heart I say that. We all respect the chair, but the chair also has to conduct itself dispassionately, without bias. But have you seen the Speaker occupying this chair? The gentleman occupying this chair comes from my state. And I'm sorry, his conduct is far, far from impartial.
So, Mr. Khera, there's, so what we are now really moving towards, session after session, along with a complete trust deficit, are going to be scenes that will play out such as what we saw. There will be no dialogue. It will be a waste where, public expenditure is concerned. What are we really getting out of the parliament anymore? Because it seems that the treasury benches and oppositions are only in a war of one-upmanship.
Preeti, that is a question that I'm sure you have asked and you will ask the treasury benches, because the onus to run the parliament smoothly rests completely with the treasury benches. Today, what we saw in the evening was Mr. Piyush Goyal, the Minister for Commerce. When the session of the parliament is ongoing, a minister is making a statement, something on a matter of critical importance outside the parliament to the press, and there too he's not taking any questions. He's just making a speech and vanishing. So these are times when I agree with you, a lot of unprecedented things are going on, including what Mr. Piyush Goyal did today, because there are concerns, not just the opposition has. By the way, the opposition in this country also represents over 60% of the country. So you can't also gag the opposition. We are amplifying and voicing the concerns of farmers. We are amplifying the concerns of the middle class, of the industry, of everyone in this country. So
Mr. Khera, I'm going to ask you one quick question before I let you go. Because you talk of, Piyush Goyal, the charge can also be at the leader of opposition, Mr. Khera, from quoting out of memoirs which are unpublished, unverified, which he did on the floor of the parliament today.
By the way, as per the rules, Preeti, did the author object to Mr. Gandhi raising these points? Did the publisher object? Did the magazine which carried those excerpts object? If there is no objection coming from the three major stakeholders, the only stakeholders, who is the Speaker, who is the Parliament, who is the BJP to object to it? So we also do study our rules. The fact of the matter is, this trade deal, Epstein files, General Naravane's unpublished book, which is very explosive, the contents, we've all gone through the contents through the magazine, are embarrassing the Prime Minister and are exposing the fact that the Prime Minister is completely, thoroughly, absolutely compromised and is running scared. Now that's something very unfortunate for a country as large as India, when the country's Prime Minister is scared, is afraid, not just of America, also of China. His own bhaktas, all the bhakts of Narendra Modi, thought that POTUS will become Lotus. Now here Lotus has become POTUS. This Lotus-POTUS going on is something which is worrying everybody.
All right, thank you, sir, for taking the time out and joining us this evening. Appreciate it.
A trade reset sealed in Washington, but triggering a political storm in New Delhi. US President Donald Trump's decision to slash reciprocal tariffs on Indian goods from 25 to 18% is being projected as a diplomatic win. But even before the politics takes over, the fine print reveals a trade-off. This deal is being pitched as win some, give some. What India gains? Easier access to US market, lower tariffs for Indian exports, and the possibility of global supply chains shifting towards India. But there is a cost. What India loses? Questions over strategic autonomy, concerns over continued Russian oil purchases, and pressure to buy more American goods. Those trade-offs ignited a political storm at home. Parliament erupted as opposition MPs stormed the well, demanding a debate on the US-India deal. Lok Sabha leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi accused Prime Minister of bowing to pressure.
नरेंद्र मोदी जी पर प्रेशर है, भयंकर प्रेशर है, और नरेंद्र मोदी जी का जो इमेज का गुब्बारा है, जो हजारों करोड़ रुपए लेकर बनाया गया था, वो फूट सकता है।
The opposition also charged the government with outsourcing India's trade announcements to Washington.
Going by what President Trump has put out in the public space, if that is correct, then it is increasingly concerning with regard to India's strategic autonomy.
Priyanka Gandhi Vadra added that Indian farmers could now be pushed into direct competition with American companies, demanding clarity on the agreement. The government hits back.
विपक्ष के नेता भी हमें पूछ रहे थे कि कब होगा यूएस डील, और मैं हैरान हूं, ये डबल स्टैंडर्ड्स जो राहुल गांधी जी बार बार दिखाते हैं वह बहुत ही निंदनीय है।
Union Minister JP Nadda accused the opposition of playing politics with national interests, insisting the government is open to discussion.
सरकार किसी बात से भी, कोई भी बात से चर्चा करने से पीछे नहीं रहती है, हमेशा आगे रहती है।
Top government sources moved to reassure, saying farmers' interests remain protected. India will continue buying crude from non-sanctioned sources at market rates, and the $500 billion trade figure is spread over several years, not a one-year commitment. The government sees opportunity. The opposition sees compromise. A tariff cut abroad has delivered gains and sparked doubts. The deal with Washington may be sealed, but at home, the debate over what India gave up has only just begun. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, let's quickly bring in Dr. Syed Nasir Hussain, Rajya Sabha MP Congress, because the Congress and the opposition, even in Parliament and outside, have been asking certain questions on the opaqueness of what they feel the deal with US is. Dr. Hussain, my first question, in the times of geopolitics and where we stand, there is always a bit of give and take, and one would reckon it's not bad that we've come right after a deal with EU and now with the deal with America. What is the main contention of the opposition? What is the problem? You want the fine print of the debate. What is the main contentious issue?
There are 2-3 main issues which I think need to be debated in public domain. One, the Parliament is in session. The Parliament is debating very important issues. So why can't we debate the Indo-US trade tariff deals? Why can't we debate European Union trade deals? Why can't we debate the statements that are coming out of US President's office, US Agricultural Minister's office? So what is more important is, why should the country, and especially why should the Parliament know from the tweets of US President or from the statements of US Agriculture Minister about what is happening between India and America vis-a-vis trade deals, vis-a-vis tariffs, vis-a-vis various other engagements with them? That is point number. Why is the government running away from discussing these issues, especially when the Parliament is in session? Number one. Number two is, if you just go by the way the US government is dictating, US President is dictating, the way US Agriculture Minister is claiming, it is very clear that these trade deals are not in interest of India, and especially not, certainly not in interest of Indian farmers. The way it is very clear by now that at zero customs, zero duties, that agricultural products will be sold in India, which will be brought from US. So after the black farm laws, this is the way the government of India is treating its own farmers. This is the way it is shedding away its responsibility and not protecting its farmers. And what is more important is, last year's trade deficit with US, the US had $440 billion trade deficit. Now it is very clear the US want to reverse it through these trade tariffs.
You know, but last question, Dr. Nasir Hussain. I know Rajya Sabha is still in session, but I just want to ask you one quick question, sir, before I let you go. You'll have the government and you will have the trade minister who has told us that have some faith. We have underlined our interests. We are pushing for those interests. The sheer fact that we've been able to bring down tariff from 50% to an 18% is testimony to that.
The most important question here is, at what cost are we stopping buying oil from Russia, which is much a lower rate which we are supposed to buy from Russia? Is US dictating that? Is it at the cost of our friendship and our trade deals with Russia? And what about the agriculture minister's statements? We used to sell the indigenous production in the market, and we used to buy from those countries from which we used to get at a very lower cost. Now the Americans will dump all their agricultural products in our country at a zero cost. That means our own home growers, our own farmers will be feeling the brunt. They will be toiling, they will be working very hard, they will be doing this on loans, but then they will not be able to sell their own products in the market, because there will be products from America which will be sold at a much cheaper rate in our market. Why is this happening? So it is not just give and take, it is surrendering to the US government. Ceasefire, we saw that the American president said more than 75 times that it was he who dictated ceasefire. Now it is very evident that we are surrendering to him. He kept on telling that he will be raising the tariffs if you buy Russian oil. Now we are clearly succumbed to his dictates. Now we are saying we will not buy Russian oil, and then we will do whatever the US president or the US government says. It is very clear we are surrendering our interest. We are surrendering the interest of our farmers. We are surrendering the interest of our own economy.
Thank you, sir, for taking the time out and joining us this evening. Appreciate it. Joining me now is Mr. Tuhin Sinha, National Spokesperson, BJP, Brijesh Kadapa, National Spokesperson, Congress. Tuhin Sinha, you know, there are important issues that have been raised, and forget about what the opposition is raising. Important issues that a lot of people who watch the Indian economy closely are raising. Many are saying, where's the fine print of it? Because you had, the US Agriculture Secretary, after the announcement of this deal, come out and say US farm exports have been agreed to in the new deal. If that has really happened, then did we really watch out for the interests of our farmers?
Well, good evening, Preeti. Good evening, everybody. You know, the problem with our opposition and a section of the media is that when our honorable minister asserts something, you don't listen to the minister. You tend to, go by what you hear from outside. So our minister has very categorically stated, Piyush has very categorically stated that India's farm sector, India's dairy sector remains untouched from the trade deal. So point is that some of the other concerns, which, let me address each and every concern which has been raised by the opposition. When Trump says that India will work towards zero tariff, it does not mean that the zero tariff are being imposed. We are working towards net zero emission, the timeline for which is the next 4 decades. Point is, from 50%, if the tariff has been brought down to 18%, which is way better than all our competing economies, be it China, be it Vietnam, be it the other manufacturing nation in our neighborhood, Bangladesh, it's a huge boon for us. And at the same time, our concerns have been completely taken care of. Even on the issue of purchase of oil, we stand very firmly on the stand which we have consistently maintained, that Indian oil companies will decide on the point of purchases based on market prices at the given point of time. So I think we should wait for the joint statement by both the countries. That is when the clarity will be obtained. But for Congress party to be, the usual pessimists, they have they have been, it almost seems that every time there is reason for the country to celebrate, the Congress party goes into depression.
Mr. Sinha, Tuhin Sinha, I'm going to ask you one question and I'm going to bring in Mr. Kalapa right after that, because you say it's only the Congress party. So am I, as a journalist, when I read a social media post put forth by the Agriculture Secretary of the United States of America, and he holds the position of the Agriculture Secretary of America, say, thank you, POTUS, for once again delivering for American farmers. New US-India deal will export more American farm products to India's massive marketing, lifting prices and pumping cash into rural America. Are we not to believe him? Is he lying, sir?
Well, Preeti, 2 points over here. When Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal very categorically says that our concerns in the farm and the dairy sector have been taken care of, you need to believe him. But yes, there are other ways, the warehousing, agriculture technology, agri-tech as we call it, there are other areas where there could be collaboration. So you need to wait for the final blueprint, which should come any moment in the next, or in the next couple of days. That should be out, and that is when you should, jump the gun instead of jumping the gun now.
Brajesh Kalapa, that makes sense. Wait for the final declaration, the fine print to be out, and then make allegations, which to the outside world then, could be damning with what is happening right now. Go ahead, sir.
See, Preeti, there are three facts, and these I'll put to you and your viewers, and I think the viewers can best decide. When it came to the ceasefire was announced on American soil, and it was announced by US President Trump. So as far as the ceasefire between India and Pakistan, it was the US President Trump who made the announcement regarding the ceasefire first. Second is in regard to the stoppage of purchase of Russian oil. That announcement too came from the White House and came from Donald J. Trump, right? Now the third announcement is with regard to the trade deal, and Brooke Rollins, who is the US Agricultural Secretary, has also made a detailed tweet which you just read. Now let me just point out, for the sake of viewers, because ultimately, there will be a few more days and everybody would have forgotten about this and it would be touted as a victory. So I think it's very important to put things in perspective. There are at least 5 sectors which are going to be very seriously affected by this zero, duty on imports. First is soybean oil. Second is dairy products. The third is corn, sweet corn. Then almonds, walnuts, and apples. I think at least 6 to 7 states of the country are going to be seriously affected by the fact that if the US is able to pump and dump their agricultural produce in India, it's going to serve as a death knell for farmers. And you must remember that India is primarily an agricultural-based nation. And I think 65% of the country still relies on agriculture. I think if the US Agricultural Secretary, her words are to be taken seriously, I think it's a serious situation.
But okay, on the flip side, Mr. Kalapa, the fact is, you heard your counterpart, Tuhin Sinha, and he has a point. He's saying, would you rather believe the US Agriculture Secretary or would you believe your own Trade Minister, when he's saying that both agriculture and dairy are being taken care of and our farmers' interests are primary. And very soon, when the declaration, the fine print of the details of this deal are out, you will understand why he said that.
See, Preeti, I must tell you that I'd like to believe Mr. Piyush Goyal. I'd like to believe him, but unfortunately, what events have transpired in the last few months don't allow me to have much confidence in Mr. Piyush Goyal's words. Rather, what Trump says has always been something which Mr. Modi has very cravenly followed.
Okay, Tuhin Sinha, would you want to come in, sir, on this?
In the last 6 months, the Congress party has made all kinds of cheap innuendos to mock India and to mock Prime Minister Modi in a challenging situation. Now, what has happened in the last 6 months? We have shielded the economy from the impact of the tariffs. We have expanded our markets. And despite the tariffs, the projected growth rate of, continued to be at of the GDP continued to be at 7.2%. So imagine, this is not just a validation of the resilience of Indian economy, but also of the astute and the adroit leadership of Prime Minister Modi. Now, with the EU FTA in place, now with the US FTA in place, the increase in the projected GDP is going to be at least to the tune of 0.3%. Now, it will obviously benefit MSMEs, it will benefit the entire manufacturing sector. Point is, why does the Congress party always get rattled when we have seen through a tough situation? If you have a problem with President Trump's tweeting style or the way he posts information, please understand that this is the way he has been doing it for the entire world with almost all countries. Is there any country which is an exception? Now the point is, either you engage with US or you completely disengage. It's for the Congress party has been a traditional loser, an escapist who has not been able to deal with challenging situations when, it was in power. Please allow us, the freedom, please allow us the way we are handling these situations, because at the end of the day, what it brings to the table is 180 crore consumer base combined, between the two countries.